Marauder EX bringing you part 7 of Let's Play Panzer Dragoon Saga. As you see, I'm actually now in gameplay. We're out of the intro. It starts with the tutorial menu that I just skipped through because I see no need to show you all the tutorial. It would take up a lot of time. It's basically an explanation of battles, which most of that we'll be covering as we play. There's really not too much need to actually play through the entire tutorial. I mean, if people want, I can go back and show the tutorial just for, you know, complete sake, but I see no reason to do it, so. Anyway, back to the gameplay. We are now flying around the mine site. As you can see, I can interact with a lot of things. I can destroy, or knock over, not so much destroy, but rearrange their equipment. You can go into the mine shafts in the walls. Most of them have treasure chests, as you can see. And then you can just fly straight out and it takes you to another part of the map. And this, for being just the opening area, is huge. And just the amount that they put in it is... I'm also a big fan of the music. The music for this area is just gorgeous. There are also random encounters that can happen here, not in the mine shafts here, so as long as I'm here I'm fairly safe. But when I'm out in the open, like now, I am completely susceptible to random encounters. And obviously the monsters in this area are not going to be too difficult, so... Let's see, we've got more treasure chests, and these fans. That little circle that appears over it, that is the indication of laser rank. As you progress through the game and level up, it'll fill up on your gauge, and you can destroy objects that have the same laser rank that you have. So that's like the strongest laser rank, so I'm not going to be destroying those until the very end of the game. Alright, my first fight. As you can see, you've got 3 little power gauges that fill up over time. They don't fill if you're moving, and then right next to those you've got a little radar map that tells you where you are in position to your targets. And there are red zones, spear zones, and green zones. Red zones are the primary attack focus of your opponent. Green zones are typically safer zones where you'll take less damage if they do attack. Clear zones are neutral, so they can still attack, you can still attack them. It does involve a lot of planning as to what you're going to do during fights, because you've got to know if the monster has a weak point, where that weak point is located, and where the safest place for you to be in the combat situation is. And another fight. Patago. These look like giant fish bird things. They've got a leader, which is the purple one, floating above you there. And naturally, I didn't actually move, so I'm getting attacked by all 4 of them. When the leader's taken out, the others can't regenerate. So as long as you take out the leader, regeneration no longer is an issue. But the leader will continue to regenerate during his phase. So the rest, however, as you can see, go down pretty easy. But because I took damage and it took me several hits, they label it as a close call. You are judged by how much damage you take, how quickly you go through the fight. Basically, how easy it is for you to beat the fight, and how awesome you are doing it. You get graded. The higher the grade, the more the XP curve, and the more money you get. You can also get chances of items and rare items. And our first little blockade, there's a wind wall that they've erected to keep out monsters, because, you know, in this world monsters are a big issue, so... especially flying monsters, you need to erect giant fans to keep them out. Makes perfect sense. So we've got to go find a way to disable that before we can continue. And since there's only one other pathway, it's not exactly like this is, you know, a difficult concept. But it is the first dungeon area, so they don't throw too much at you. And down the tunnel, and ooh, I wonder what this could be. It's so noisy here. I wonder what that device is for. 2 and 2. Oh, rumbling stopped. Maybe it's because I turned the device off. Again, 2 and 2. I'm really not knocking the game. I do love this game. It's 10 kinds of awesome. Just some of the more obvious duh moments. Another fight. I really do love the fights, but as the game goes on, I'm probably going to start editing a good number of them out. And I'm going to make sure you see, you know, all the different monsters that I see, but the multiple fights that I get into, I may cut out. I'll leave that up to the people who are actually viewing it. I mean, leave comments if you want me to include all the fights, just so you can see what goes on and what my rate of battle is, because you can keep track of all of your stats as far as what you're ranked per fight. So I mean, if people want to see that, I'll show it. I won't cut anything out. But if it looks like it's going to be easier for me and everyone involved who's watching it just to cut some of the fodder fights out, then we'll go that route. You see, great fight. It took a couple of hits, but I also took no damage, so they give me a higher rank. Alright. And treasure chest. I'm gonna go ahead and save it again now that I've turned the wall of wind off. I do adhere to the typical RPG notion of every time you can save, do it, because you don't know if you're gonna screw up. Looking through it, I can't change my dragon form yet because he hasn't evolved yet, but you can look at the monsters that you've defeated, and it'll tell you what your highest rank on them are. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here since I just saved it, and the next big thing that's coming up is our first boss fight. So I will see you in our next installment. Take care, all.